The buzzer sounded in Boston and the Golden State Warriors are 7-1. Is it time to start taking this team serious? I know the Celtics were missing Jaylen Brown, but the Warriors went into Boston and looked good again. What did they do well? What do they need to work on? We're talking all things Dubs right now.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
No golf claps in here. That deserves a big round of applause. Golden State Warriors go into Boston, and a night that was supposed to be the Steve Kerr and Jayson Tatum revenge tour after Kerr didn't play him in the Olympics. You forgot about that as soon as the game started because this one was an incredible game, a regular season game that felt like one in June. Welcome into Locked On Warriors, everyone, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can find us on YouTube if you're watching us right now. Good to see you. We're here for just about every game after the final buzzer sounds. Go ahead, like, subscribe. Warriors content will flow into your algorithm all the time. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, and new customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. We are also free and available wherever you get your audio podcasts. I'm your host, Charlie Walter, formerly of 95.7 The Game in San Francisco. Also worked at the CBS station there, KPIX. At 95.7 The Game, worked with Matt Kolsky, hosted some Warriors talk, and got to cover the team's championship run in 21-22. And I'm starting to wonder, man, we're getting some similar vibes. That was a team that started off 18-2 in the national media. Nobody believed in them, much like this team today. But what Golden State does is an incredible defensive first half. The second half, they start hitting shots. They go down by, I think, 6 or 7. It was 7 late in the fourth quarter. There's 5 minutes to go in the game. And then from there, Kevon Looney, offensive rebounds. Wiggins puts it together. Curry hits dagger after dagger. Anderson knocks down his free throws. Thing of beauty, man.
Yeah, and they were getting points tonight, by the way, too. So we'll get to dust that off later in the show. Just everything you could have possibly wanted from tonight. Obviously, you get the Warriors win, but what a game. Back and forth all night. Yet the Warriors started like crap, took a pretty big lead in the second, and then the Celtics came back in the second half. That third quarter where Steph and Tatum started going back and forth for a little bit. Like, this was awesome. And they played both ends. Warriors and Celtics played playoff intensity defense all night tonight.
Yeah.
What more could you want as a Warriors fan than what they just produced? That was awesome.
What more could you want as an NBA fan, man? It had a little bit of everything. It had the Celtics going up like I think it was 15-3 really early. Yep. Went up by 11 or 12. Subs come in, and what do the subs do? They shoot their way right back in it. Buddy Hield hits 3 in a row. Then Kyle Anderson, he has a trifecta heat check.
Hey,
he says, hey, that's 3 for me. You can count. Anderson does that, and then Kuminga gets involved a little bit. Moody had his moments in today's game after getting the start for Golden State. And then at the end, it's the tried and it's the true. It's Looney getting the offensive board, Steph Curry hitting threes, and Draymond Green just being a catalyst like he's been all season long. This one really shifted, though, in the second half with about 5 minutes to go in the game. Warriors were down 7. Andrew Wiggins hits a bucket. And there was a clear momentum shifter that was involving a challenge. Steph Curry came off a screen. Doris Burke was 1,000% confident. She had good analysis tonight, but this one, she was like, it's coming back. It's coming the other way. Oh, that stings. So the Warriors, they were already getting the talking points ready for the change of pace. And as Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friends. Curry goes to the line, knocks down the free throws, and then by the time I got down to the studio and set up my equipment, Dubs are back up 1.
In Doris's defense, that was one of a number of just bizarre calls tonight. I mean, it's one thing to not overturn that call because it was certainly a foul. Like, Steph probably deserved to go to the 3-point line, and they rarely call the illegal screen that Kevon Looney set. But if you're going to review it and look at the screen, they literally just lied about what they saw on the video. Like, his feet are not outside his shoulders. Yes, they are. We're all looking at it. So you'll take it. Warrior fans will take it, but it was both ways all night. They were calling touch fouls and letting harder stuff go. Like, it was a bizarrely officiated game. And I wonder if some of that is you just don't get a lot of defensive intensity at this level for 48 minutes in the regular season. Like, the refs might have been caught off guard as much as anybody else. You love to see it, man. You love to see two teams who neither of them are at full strength. Both of them have had a great start to the season, but like, this game doesn't mean as much to them as it does to people watching, right? We're the ones who care about the first matchup between the Warriors and Celtics. To them, it's a game. It's a game against a good team, but it's not end all be all when it's game 8 or 9 of the season, right? They played like this mattered, and I'm thrilled. What a time to be alive. You mentioned
what a time to be alive. And how about Kata, man? I mean, the fact that he had his coming out party, he was impressive.
But Looney, to your point earlier, changed this game down the stretch. He absolutely changed the game. The reason the Warriors slipped behind by 5 or 7 in the fourth quarter is because they could not clear a rebound to save their lives. I sent you a text right before Looney came in, rebounding, Chuck, rebounding.
12 boards for the Celtics in the game, 12.
Yeah, and it felt like 8 of those were in a 3-minute stretch in the fourth quarter, right? There was a stretch where it wasn't that they were shooting better or that the Warriors defense slipped. It's just every time they missed, they got the rebound until they made it for like 3 minutes. Kevon Looney just shut it off. He just came in and shut it off. All of a sudden, a massive rebound advantage that seemed like the entire Celtics team was just grabbing every board. Kevon Looney came in and it ended. And I think it shows you with this team how many different buttons Steve Kerr can press at any given moment, and how, and I think it'll get better and better as he gets to know this group more and more. But to have the luxury of, I didn't love the way he used Gary Payton tonight, but to have the luxury of Gary Payton.
We had an argument. You could tell the people about our argument over text. I said Gary Payton just played an incredible 5 minutes of basketball. I thought he was a nice spark off the bench. And you said, Chuck, come on now. What's he doing going in a game down 11 early?
Yeah, it's not. I don't disagree with you, but it is a weird choice to me. Down 14-3, 5 minutes into a basketball game with Buddy Hield sitting right there, that you bring Payton in, and they didn't get back. They didn't actually start to come back until he did bring Buddy Hield in the game like 3 minutes later. The first thing Gary Payton did was miss a 3.
Buddy Hield's a difference, man. Buddy, at this point, he's a difference. And we're still waiting for we've had the one game where it was the experience. We had stretches against the Rockets where it was like, all right, Buddy Hield is not high pressure situation, put the ball in his hands and let him cook. But what he is in this Terry Stotts motion offense, and here's the thing, I know it's coming every single time. It's the is it the thumb play? I forget exactly what they call it. But I watched some sets of it on Twitter, and every single time it's that first read to Buddy Hield off the screen, catch and shoot. And the Celtics were going behind him. They couldn't get through the screen, whatever it may be. And Hield was getting off clear looks over and over again.
Draymond and Looney know how to set that screen better than almost anybody. And so part of it is Buddy's on a heater, right? Part of it is he's just hot and he's playing great. Part of it is this is a really good fit. Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors know exactly what to do with that player. Exactly what to do with that player. And I got to say, he is never going to be 2019 Klay Thompson on the defensive end, but the consistency of defensive effort and not making key defensive mistakes, I've been really happy with it so far from Buddy Hield. And like you said, don't let him ball handle down the stretch, but otherwise he's doing everything you could possibly want from him. The story of the season so far, not that there haven't been some bumps, Steph missed some time, DeAnthony Melton's still out. Apparently Pajemski is dealing with a thing now, but no notes really. Like, so far so good, fellas. They're really off to a hell of a start, and tonight was the cherry on the early season ice cream sundae.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to try to find the biggest complaint of the entire season, it's I thought Pajemski was going to shoot it better, and Pajemski doesn't even play tonight. We're not even talking his name, and the Warriors still get the job done. I actually have a buddy that's from Rhode Island, but he claims Boston for some reason. Geographically, I'm sure they're very close, but I don't know exactly how close. But it's his team, and they thought it wasn't even going to be a game today. We'll get to the spread in a minute, but they thought it wasn't even going to be a game. And not only was it a game, it was a game that the Warriors won and led for a large portion of this game. And not only that, it had shades of the Rockets where you felt like you blew a pretty big lead in the second half. You weren't playing good basketball, and they rallied the troops. They found the combination that worked down the stretch, and that's basketball, and that is situational ball that's going to help you out when the calendar flips to May, no doubt about it. Now's a good time to tell you that we have a newsletter introducing the Locked On Warriors Daily Newsletter. It's a one-stop for ultimate team and league coverage. It's delivered right to your inbox. It is free. If you have 10 seconds, you can sign up at LockedOnDaily.com. That is LockedOnDaily.com to start your day with an all-new free Locked On Warriors newsletter. Now's a good time to tell you about underwear, because who doesn't love basketball and who doesn't love underwear? I've always loved a nice boxer. Then I switched it up to briefs. Then I had a midlife crisis and went tighty whities. But hey, to each their own. Come on, judge with it. No, but until now, I tried the SKIMS stretch brief, and I don't think there's ever going back. They're sleek. They're lightweight. They're super comfortable. It almost feels like you're wearing nothing at all, like you're on a hammock. But I still keep them fully secure when it matters most. Trust me, when it comes to underwear, I've now tried them all, and SKIMS is the best to do it. Shop SKIMS Mens at skims.com. Let them know we sent you, Locked On Warriors. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. Get you some underwear. And if you're looking for the perfect gifts for the whole family, SKIMS just launched their biggest holiday shop ever, also available at skims.com. So much to get to on this game, and you kind of forget about it because it was action-packed throughout the entire thing. This is not a game where you sit down and you try to take notes, because if you do that, the storyline of the game shifts completely. It starts off, the Warriors were playing the best defense of any basketball team this entire season. I mean, Mike Breen said it. They held the Celtics to 40 points. Then third quarter flips, and the Celtics, who in 24 minutes scored 40, they score 41 in the third quarter. What was so different? Was it just the Celtics figuring out, oh, yeah, we have firepower, even without Jaylen Brown and Porzingis, or what exactly was it, do you think?
I think a lot of it was that. Yeah. I mean, that quarter, Jayson Tatum's 5 of 7, 4 of 6 from 3, 3 of 4 from the line, 17 points. I didn't think they were playing bad defense on Jayson Tatum. He is a very good basketball player. And when he gets it going like that, naturally, everyone else is going to have an easier time. But overall, if you took Tatum's numbers out, nobody else is particularly special, right? It's just sometimes the superstar on the other team does superstar stuff. So the third quarter to me was more a story of the Celtics bouncing back than the Warriors failing. I think, like a commenter on YouTube just said, where the Warriors started to collapse a little was in the fourth, when they started giving up all those rebounds. And that was where Looney came in and saved the day.
Free throws, a point of contention again. What were the final numbers today? from the charity
Oh
stripe.
boy. Yeah, it's not
It wasn't
great.
bad. No, it was 20 and 24, 83%.
Yeah, but three of those were missed down the stretch. 2 of them anyway.
Yeah.
Which you don't love. But hey,
You love Steph Curry going on the line when they need 3. They need 3
yeah,
points, and he ends up going 7.
or even
7
Buddy
from 30.
Hield, right? I mean, the Celtics, again, the Celtics are a good team who just won the championship, and they were smart. They kept the ball out of Steph Curry's hands, and they forced it to Draymond and Andrew Wiggins down the stretch, right? Which, look, you get the win. You're not going to complain about a couple missed free throws, but you'd love to see Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green knock all their clutch free throws down, It's
a 6-point win on the road. You'll absolutely positively take it. And then you look at the eye test and how the Warriors played, especially down the stretch, and the fact that they were able to stare into the eyes of adversity. And it was adversity that blinked first. How about that? It was adversity that blinked first, not the Warriors. That's battle tested, man. And that's what this team needs to be heading into Cleveland. Gives them a ton of confidence. And look, I know that the Celtics were missing 2 of their starters, like we see from JR on the screen. But regardless, that's a team that is deep, that has a lot of depth, that was being talked about as the next super team, and they still could be. And missing 2 of their players. But, dude, like, let's give the flowers to Steph Curry and what he did down the stretch of this game, man.
Yeah, look, the Warriors beat a really good team tonight.
They're
missing Jayson Tatum. I don't know if I count Porzingis being out as missing a starter at this point. Like, he hasn't been a part of the team so far this year, and they've still been one of the best teams in the NBA without him. So I'll count the Jaylen Brown miss, and certainly Jaylen Brown missing a game is more costly to the Celtics than Melton and Podziemski missing a game for the Warriors.
You got Keita looking like prime Dwight Howard out there. I mean, he hasn't done that this year.
He's barely played this year. Portugal's finest right there.
The Kings had him, man. I was working up in Sacramento when the Kings drafted him. I think it was the Halliburton draft. Got him in the second round. He did nothing up there. Got a cup of coffee and a few minutes here and there. He looked like, I mean, not to make it a Celtics podcast, but he looked good, man. He looked physical.
Yeah. I don't imagine he'll be available anytime soon, but he wouldn't look bad in a Warriors uniform. Anyway, he sometimes, as a big guy especially, you just got to get lucky to find the playing time, right? I mean, he's only playing because Jaylen Brown's out and Joe Mazzulla wanted to go big. And obviously because Porzingis is out for the first, I don't know, third of the season or so. In any event, whether you had Jaylen Brown or not tonight, this is still by far the best team the Warriors have played so far this season. And again, all we can keep saying, and so far it's been true after every night other than that weird Clippers loss, they're passing all of the tests in front of them. You don't get to take the final exam before the midterm, but they pass the midterm, right? I mean, that might not be the best example. We're not midterm yet, but this was the first significant test, and they won on the road in the middle of a pretty long road trip, missing a couple of guys. And yes, the Celtics were missing one of their all-stars as well, but it's the NBA. These things happen. This is still the best win of the season, and it's still a win that I think it says, like, does anyone really think if Jaylen Brown played tonight, the Celtics just blow the Warriors out?
Absolutely not.
No. So even if you think Jaylen Brown's worth an extra 10 points,
we're looking at a tier 1, tier 2 team in basketball where we didn't know that.
That's right.
The season. You're looking at a team that doesn't look playing.
No, and the Warriors belong in this group. The Celtics, when healthy, are the best team in the league. When not fully healthy, they're still a clear non-play-in, play-off team. And the Warriors belong with the playoff teams, given what they've done so far this year, and that is saying something.
What a win in Boston. We're 10% of the way in the season, and the Warriors are up there with the Cavs, with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Best records in basketball right now. Arguably the best defense in basketball. You can debate that with the Thunder, and we're going to see the two go head-to-head Sunday. First up, we got a game on Friday against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're going to discuss it a little bit, but it's too hard to look forward when the present is so enticing. Golden State, 7-1. Let's talk about what they did really well today. That's coming up on Locked On Warriors. All right, so let's tell you about our sponsor, FanDuel. FanDuel, number one sports book out there. So get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5. You get 150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, and you can do it all in one place. So if you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, you can view the live play-by-play, and you can do so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com. Join today. You'll get started with 150 in bonus bets. Again, that's if you win your first $5 bet. So you better be betting on the Warriors. FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And the Golden State Warriors today, the spread, they were getting 6.5 points. So let's do the math. 12 of them. Vegas, keep your point. Warriors are 7-1 against the spread. You can find those spreads on FanDuel.com. Oh, goodness, baby. Golden State. That felt like a summer game. Got a summer sweat in. Was in my defensive stance watching that game late. Warriors were in their defensive stance for all of this thing. Held the Celtics to 16 points in the second quarter today. That's one thing that we know, is that when you have a top 5 defense in the NBA, as long as Golden State's healthy, they're going to be in most of these games. We heard before the contest that this was kind of a redemption game. We thought it was the Celtics redemption game because of the whole Jayson Tatum, Steve Kerr thing in the Olympics. No, that was barely brought up. I heard that the last time these two teams played in Boston, it was a 52-point drubbing last year in favor of the Celtics. I don't think that's going to happen with Golden State this year. Their defense is just too consistent.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it never should have happened last year, but you're right. It's not just the ability, it's the consistency of effort that we've seen so far. Like, no team is going to play 82 nights of perfect defense, but through 8 games, and keep in mind, generally speaking, like, defensive intensity increases over the course of the season, right? It's not normal for teams to be playing this consistently on defense this early in the season. And it's a great sign of things to come. I will say, and look, tonight's not the night. Tonight, you're playing one of the best teams in the league. You're trying to get everything you can out of your best guys. I do think Steve Kerr is going to have to start finding nights where no matter what, Steph Curry's staying under 30 minutes, where no matter what, like, Wiggins is playing more, or I'm sorry, Kuminga is playing more than Wiggins tonight, because I think they're going to want to be a little bit smart about the way they save their veterans, given how hard they are playing on the defensive end most nights from start to finish.
Well,
Steph was absolutely incredible defensively tonight.
He was good, man. Dude, they're blitz packages. I mean, they're opportune blitzes. How many times I thought, I was watching a NFL blitz or something with how they were just swarming the ball, the double teams, the takeaways. It was nonstop. They've been doing it pretty much all year. I mean, Doris Burke was loving it out there. I thought she may have been in a defensive stance watching this thing, but it was good stuff. But going back to your point, because you talked about how some of the veterans need rest, it's going to happen naturally. I mean, you got to play your guys 35 minutes. You play to win the game. Herm taught us that you play to win the game. So the Warriors, they got. Give me 5 seconds. Give me 5 seconds, Kolsky. I'll get back to you. Give me 5 seconds. Mute button. The Cavs coming up: Oklahoma City, Dallas, Memphis, Clippers. Like, you got a 5-game stretch where you could play these guys to see what you're made of, win all these games, and then it's back to Atlanta and New Orleans and San Antonio and Brooklyn. And then after a nice 4-game rest where you see what your bench unit is made of and you're running Curry 25 minutes a game, you get Oklahoma City, you get Phoenix, you get Denver, you get Minnesota, you get Memphis. And then it goes back to, Lakers, Clippers, Actually, the schedule's pretty good. End of the year, they got like Detroit and some bad teams, Chicago, Sacramento. So what I'm basically saying is it goes in spurts. They can rest naturally, in my opinion. Give them a load management night on back-to-backs. That's the nice thing, man, about the NBA is you don't have to win 73 games in order to get home court or get 2-3 seed in the Western Conference. All they need to do with a 7-1 start is take care of the teams they're better than, and they're gonna hit their over/under, which was 43.5. I mean, that's what a 7-1 start does, and starting off a brutal road trip with a win at Boston.
Things are going to have to go very wrong for them not to hit their over. But we're on the same page, Chuck. It's just that Steve Kerr has to actually do it. And historically, I don't know that he's done that. Historically, he has leaned on the side of playing his veterans more. Like, how many times can you remember they're up 25 and Steph Curry's still in the game with 6 minutes left for some reason, right? Like, that has happened a lot over the years. And
then you're going to have to get with the times.
Again, that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is when they do, because we talked about that sort of streakiness of the season, right? Batch of good teams, batch of not so good teams. When we hit those slower stretches, I really would like to see. It's not so much about nights off even, but like sometimes there's no reason Steph Curry has to play more than 30 minutes. And you just need to start managing it earlier in the game than Steve Kerr usually likes to do. But that's the least of your worries right now. Because as you said, I think you're going to try to play your best guys as much as you can through the next 4 games or so. They've not shied away, the Warriors themselves, from saying that this stretch is a measuring stick, right?
Yeah, like, I said today was the exact quote from Anthony Slater from Buddy Hield. This is live on the air. Breaking news as Buddy says it. As I pull this thing up, we got to get you the exact quote. That's what we do. They asked, was it a big regular season win for the Warriors in Boston? Pretty dumb question, but hey, I get it. You need the answer. What do you think, says Buddy? It's a statement. If we don't win, everybody says, oh, they ain't played nobody. You got to come out and make a statement, right?
Boom.
Run through the fake brick, baby. Sorry, I got the dog in the background. Benny, it's cool. There's no one in the house.
Statement made.
Just trying to make a good podcast, buddy. But statement made, man. Warriors have been playing good basketball, and they make another statement in today's game, and now they get to go up against the Cleveland Cavaliers and try to make another statement. Cavs looking like they're looking like a wagon right now. 9-0. They've won 5 games on the road, and that's where they will be heading. To
your boy Kenny Atkinson.
And I'm looking at the wrong game. Cavs are 9-0, but the game is in Cleveland. It's not in Golden State. They'll be returning to the Bay Area December 30th, so the day before New Year's. But yeah, it's Kenny Atkinson, man. And speaking of that, why don't we give a nice pat on the back to the assistant coaches? I know a lot of the commenters have said they deserve their flowers. I mean, the fact that Jerry Stackhouse comes in and has a top 3 defense in the NBA, Terry Stotts comes in, and there hasn't been a ton of confusion. Like the turnovers tonight, you could give me the final number. I don't have it in front of me, but I don't think it was anything out of 11. It wasn't anything out of control. Good. And the movement's great, man. I mean, they play hot potato. They take open shots. Celtics were way more isolated than Golden State. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's their plan, but I certainly prefer Warriors basketball. And you're right. They have been, especially over the last few, about as good at avoiding turnovers as I can remember them ever being in this stretch of success for the franchise. So that's super impressive. And I think, there's something about having an NBA legend demand effort on defense that probably hits a little different when we're talking about Jerry Stackhouse, right? These dudes know who Jerry Stackhouse was. Like, that's not.
I don't know, man. We're getting old at this point. I don't know if Pods was watching a bunch of Stack.
With great respect, it's not Mike Brown out there telling you to bust your ass on defense, okay? Like, Mike Brown's a tremendous coach, deserves everything he's gotten, great defensive coordinator. It's got to hit a little different when it's Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah, they got Basketball Reference. They can look up the statistics.
They know.
And they
don't tell me they don't know who Stack is.
They don't know him as a player, maybe through his highlights, but dude,
he's not as old as you think. He's younger than me, I think.
I
Isn't
think
he?
he
Maybe
did.
not.
I think he did play until like 2012 or 13 with the Hawks.
Yeah.
Maybe even gone to like 16 or 17. I don't know. Time's been blending in, man. But
Okay, he's 50. He's a little older than me, but he played in 2012-13. Yeah, he's only 11 years out of the league, for goodness sakes.
yeah, then Pods probably does remember him. All those guys do. Maybe not Quentin Post. For the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell leading the way, 23. Actually, Post is probably older than Pods, so never mind. Donovan Mitchell, 23 points a game for the Cavs to lead the way. Darius Garland's averaging 20. And then here's what scares me, especially after Keita took the Warriors to the shed tonight. Mobley at 17 points per game is averaging 8 rebounds and nearly 2 blocks. And then Jared Allen is averaging a block and a half. He's averaging over 11 and a half rebounds and 15 points per game. And hey, how about this one? To all those people out there, myself included, that said, Steve Kerr, you are an idiot. Why are you playing Ty Jerome over Moses Moody? Ty Jerome's on a championship contender right now, or at least a top 4 seed in the East team. He's getting 15 minutes per game, and he's looking good, man. He's averaging 9 points.
I think Ty Jerome's an NBA player. I always thought he was. I had less of a problem with that than Anthony Lamb, but let's not relitigate the disasters of the past. I'm less worried about Mobley. I think they've got guys who can deal with Mobley as well as anybody, whether it's Draymond. I think Kuminga can put a body on Mobley in a helpful way. Trace can guard Mobley. Jared Allen is a problem. Jared Allen's a full 7'1", 7'2". He's an excellent rebounder. He could score in the post. He's a problem. And he is representative of a problem the Warriors are going to face against a lot of teams, which is they don't have a guy that big. So I am very interested to see, A, how they approach defending that guy, and B, and attacking on offense. Because, again, I wonder if they try to go extra small and drag him away from the basket to open up the lane a little bit offensively. It's going to be interesting to see what the approach is against a team that presents a specific and distinct challenge for this Warriors roster.
You're off by about
Jared Allen is
inches.
not 6'9".
You
That's incorrect.
You looked that up. I'm going to give you about 90 seconds as I talk about Steph Curry in this game. He's good, folks. He's still really good. People that don't think he's all NBA caliber, I don't know what you're watching. Changes the game. Second he goes back in there from the bench, just changes the game. And late in the matchup, I mean, this is one that.
Am I measuring the top of Jared Allen's fro?
Yes.
I am. He's 6'9". How have I missed that? Forget the height part. He still presents the same problem. He plays taller than anybody on the Warriors roster. His wingspan is 7'6". Height wrong, wingspan correct. The Jared Allen problem is the same.
The Steph Curry problem for other teams is the same that it's been in years past. That's all I'm going to say. Those are my final thoughts of the night. I mean, just such a weapon. I had buddies texting me that love the NBA, that love watching the national games. They're East Coast guys. They don't get to stay up for a lot of these, so they love when the Warriors are playing an early 5 or 6:30 tip off over there. But they were all just 9 points or 7 points, 4 minutes left. Feels like the Celtics are kind of running away. Whop! Curry hits one. It's back to whop. It's down to 1. Next thing you know, Warriors are up a point. And I'm like, dude,
okay. Pause. Jared Allen is listed at 6'11" on.
You're still going back to this.
Well, he's 6'11" on Basketball Reference. I swear to God, he was listed over 7 feet 2 years ago. Well, we're going to have to do some research into the Jared Allen debate. He's not 6'9". We'll watch him stand next to Trace Jackson Davis, and we'll decide if he's 6'9" on Friday.
He's been putting salt in his shoes in certain off seasons, growing a few inches.
Is he growing or shrinking? I don't know which.
I don't know what's going on. Warriors, though, we know one thing. Momentum. Big Mo is growing right now for the Golden State Warriors, who win today's game. Final score, 118. Boston 112. The Warriors hit 19 threes. They shoot it over 40% from deep. They protect the basketball. They out-rebound the Celtics, and they cover the spread with many points to spare. Vegas, keep them. Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen of every day. Check us out on the audio podcast app or on YouTube. Thanks, everyone.
Kerr got Tatum again.